call to order the June 24th, 2024 meeting of the Planning and Zoning Commission. Would the secretary please take roll this evening?
Commissioner Pfluger?
Here.
Commissioner Hankins?
Here.
Commissioner Klinger is here. Commissioner Danilowicz?
Here.
Commissioner Ohms, absent. Commissioner Stanton, absent.
So we do have a quorum. Next is the, everyone should have received a copy of the minutes from the May 28th, 2024 meeting. Are there any additions or corrections?
No.
Hearing none, motion to approve?
Motion.
And a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. And that has passed. Any communications, Carrie?
No.
Okay, moving right along. Next up on the agenda is ordinance number 3524, zoning map amendment for from the single family residential R1 district to the commercial community CC district. Carrie, may we have staff report, please?
Yes, this is the North Park Fire Protection District Fire Station on Wood Avenue, a block east of North 2nd Street. And now that a new fire station is being built on Harlem Road, they no longer need this building. They're in the process of selling it. People who are interested in it seem to want to use it for commercial use. And rather than selling it as a single family residential lot, they're being proactive in seeking this zoning change now. The commercial community zoning district is adjacent immediately to the north and to the west, where those lots front North 2nd Street. And staff recommends approval. We find that this wouldn't be have a negative impact on the surroundings. We recommend approval. And
Okay, thank you. Is the applicant present for this one? Please approach the podium to be sworn in.
Can you raise your right hand? You solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
State your name and address for the record, please.
Ashley Hain. I'm representing 600 Wood Avenue, Machesney Park.
Okay, thank you. Is there anything additional that you'd like to add?
No, the lots that we're selling, there's 2 lots directly north of the 600 Wood Avenue, which is on Ramona Terrace. Those also are being sold with the property because it's all one. And those are zoned as commercial community as well.
Okay. Are there any questions for the applicant?
So just to be clear, it's the parking lot that's to the east,
Correct.
which has some containers on it for storage and a basketball court. Is
Yes.
that part of it all?
Yes, the lot is the bays and that open lot to the east. Yes, that's one big lot.
Okay. And then, of course, you're saying to the north, then there's 2 more lots that are
Yeah.
already commercial.
Correct.
Okay, there's no other questions. You may be seated.
Okay, thank you.
To open this up for discussion, can we have a motion to approve the agenda item
So move.
in a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion on this one? Oh, Jim.
I just had a question about screening. You know, normally we have a buffer between residential and commercial.
Mhm.
And if, you know, logically, if people had an objection to the fire station, they should have made it by now. It's been there for as long as I can remember, but now we're going from a residential property to a commercial property, and our code requires some kind of screening.
well, and I imagine that it'll also, depending on what kind of commercial use moves in there, they may need more parking. They're definitely going to do some kind of changes to the facility, I imagine. And that's the point when we would require that the entire property be brought up to the requirements of commercial zoning adjacent to residential.
So then on top of that, the storage containers that are in that other lot,
I wasn't aware of storage containers there.
Yeah, they look similar to the ones that you get, off the railroad, the ones that we don't like.
And I'm not sure why what the purpose of those storage containers were. Maybe
Could we have
it's-
her back up, Ashley?
That would be the chairman's
Oh.
call.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, no, I was talking to the chairman.
If you'd like to come back up.
So tell us a little bit more about the storage that's there. They appear to just be like the storage ones you'd get off a boat or off of a train or whatever.
I know that there's some garbage dumpsters and maybe a small shed type building, but I don't know of any
Yeah,
actual storage containers. I actually just came from there. I don't recall seeing any.
so in the back of the parking area,
Mhm.
and you got your it's like a beige color. It's got some steel doors. It looks like it's all made out of heavy duty steel.
Oh, okay. It's more of like shed size than it is a large
Yeah.
container.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that more than likely would be removed when they move. Because that has some, I believe, training materials in it.
Okay. Is the plan to move that to the new place? Do you know?
As far as I'm aware, they're taking everything with them or getting rid of it.
Okay. Huh. I'd have to go actually look at it or whatever, but
Well,
that's
like
just an issue for
Well,
later.
those that are owned by the fire station. They're being used to store stuff for the fire department. So I would imagine that they're not going to be there anymore once the property
Okay.
sells. And this newer station is quite a bit larger.
Yeah,
I think they can probably store stuff inside without having to have these storage units outside.
right.
And that's one of the good things about it.
And that would be caught with the occupancy of the next owner, correct? If they tried to keep those there?
That's right.
Okay.
Mhm.
Any other questions for Ashley?
No.
Thank you.
Thank you. I want to see if there's anybody else.
Yeah. Was there any other comments from the public on this topic?
Yeah.
If you would approach and be sworn in, please.
I ask you to raise your right hand. You solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes.
State your name and address for the record, please.
My name is Kathleen Poole. I live at 619 Ramona Terrace, the property directly adjacent from the North Park Fire Department.
Okay.
My question is, I want to know what type of buildings you guys are wanting to put in that location. As my home value and the neighbors around us are going to be impacted by whatever goes in there.
So you said you're on Ramona Terrace, so you're,
My backyard is directly on the property of the fire department on Wood Avenue and to the right of the property on Ramona.
And I can address that if you guys are
Sure.
comfortable with that. And
yes.
it's the commercial community zoning district. It's not the most intense zoning district. The property that on Ramona is already zoned commercial community. A lot of the properties on North Second Street are zoned commercial community. It would allow, restaurants, retail, things like that you see on North Second Street. It would just allow that to be, a block over where the fire station is. And,
Okay, because the rumor was an apartment building or an apartment
no,
complex.
that would require multifamily zoning.
Okay,
And that's not what they're applying to do.
okay.
Yeah, really, this is just going from residential to the commercial. So in hopes of kind of keeping the building the same-ish.
Okay.
Okay. Are there any other comments or? Okay.
We live right next door to her.
Okay. Well, thank you. Okay, is there any other discussion on this item?
No.
Okay. Do the commissioners agree with the findings of fact?
Yes.
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 And may we have a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner Pfluger,
Yes.
Commissioner Hankins,
Yes.
Commissioner Klinger is a yes. Commissioner Danilevich,
Yes. So this will move forward with a positive recommendation to the Planning and Economic Development Committee meeting on July 1st at 5:30. Thank you. Next up on the agenda is ordinance number 3624, adopt the updated Machesney Park Comprehensive Plan.
I'm actually going to go over to the computer over there
Oh, okay.
to do a slideshow for you guys. So you don't have to read
Right.
it. All right. Hopefully everybody can read the boards. I know some of the font is kind of small on some of these other slides, but so every community has a master plan, a smart growth plan, comprehensive plan, whatever they choose to call it. It's a plan that guides future land use decisions. It's a vision for how we would like the village to be in the next 15 to 20 years. It's a place to have our goals documented so that when we apply for funding for specific projects, we can show that the project fits into a vision that we've adopted. And that documentation is usually required when applying for grants and other funding. Always working towards the vision of the comprehensive plan is important, as is keeping that comprehensive plan updated. First, in the plan, we take an inventory of what's going on here. And consistent with the rest of the region, our population peaked in 2010 and has been tapering off due to aging baby boomers and low birth rates. Nationally, people between the ages of 19 to 39 make up a larger portion of the population than what is occurring here in Machesney Park. And this is an indication that our population is going to remain pretty stagnant unless something really changes to bring an influx of people moving here. But we had a community survey available for people to complete as part of our planning process. And people who live here like living here because of their neighborhood. Foremost, they like living here because of low crime and they like the low taxes, and it might make the most sense to make Machesney Park the best small town around for people who are here rather than focusing on growth. Make this a shopping destination so we get all the sales tax revenue without the costs associated with an increased population, like more roads to maintain, more kids packed into our classrooms. You know, more rooftops also means more water runoff that can contribute to flooding. So we want to keep in mind that preserving open space and agricultural land is beneficial to the health of and the well-being of the community as well. Machesney Park falls below our regional neighbors when it comes to how many of our adult residents have a college education. Now, for these numbers, they do not count skilled labor training, which, as we know, does pay pretty well, and this explains why household income exceeds our neighbors in Loves Park and Rockford. But these workers are mostly leaving the village when they go to work every day. According to the citizen survey, they're mostly going to jobs in Rockford and Loves Park. About 8% of them are actually going to Wisconsin for work. Likewise, the jobs here in the village that do require a college degree are mostly held by people who do not reside in the village. So that's something we want to think about as we plan. Nearly all of our housing consists of single-family homes, and those homes are aging, just enforcing our need to continue seeking funding assistance for housing rehab, or in some cases for demolishing abandoned and dilapidated homes. Just like the surrounding area, our household size has been decreasing, but we actually have fewer senior-aged householders here than in our neighboring communities, even though we do have a lot of senior residents. And this indicates to me that our senior residents may be living in their children's homes or with another caregiver. And just like everywhere, there is the need for more senior housing, especially as our population continues to age. New housing development is steady, but we don't have many platted vacant residential lots, and I'm not sure the demand is there for new residential developments. We have vast areas of vacant land zoned residential, but no proposed residential developments on the horizon. The fact that we're lacking sit-down restaurants and we're lacking furniture stores is not a surprise to any of us. And we have plenty of medical clinics and hospitals nearby, but in the village, we really just have dentists, offices, and eye doctors, and one walk-in clinic. When we look at the recent sales tax revenue data, we are strong in general merchandise and home improvement sales. Again, it's the apparel, food, and furniture retailers we hope to attract in the future coming to the village. The number of retailers here peaked in 2017 and has been up and down since, with COVID clearly not helping, but hopefully we can stop that downward slide in the number of retailers here. So that covered what our trends are and what kind of challenges we're working with. The next section of our plan looks at our vision for the future. And as a commission, we actually worked to form this vision statement together. And the statement we came up with is Machesney Park is a community that retains a small town character while offering an assortment of retail, restaurant, service, and employment options. Redevelopment and infill development are encouraged with tax increment financing districts and other incentives. Providing quality services, infrastructure, and amenities to residents while not levying a local property tax remains a priority. The village's design standards continue to elevate the appearance and quality of the commercial, industrial, and multifamily areas. Machesney Park remains a safe and friendly community in a convenient location where all are welcome to live, learn, work, shop, and play. So that's a vision statement we've come up with for this comprehensive plan. And now we get into specific goals and objectives. We have one residential goal, and it is to provide a housing inventory and living environment which supports the local population and accommodates future growth while maintaining the overall health, quality, image, and character of the village, while improving the property values and overall desirability of the village's older neighborhoods. And I know it's small up on the screen, but these are the 15 objectives that we worked on as a commission and steps to take to meet that one residential goal. We have 3 commercial goals, and the first one is to create desirable locations for businesses in Machesney Park in order to achieve a compatible and market-supportable system of attractive commercial development that is organized to provide various goods and services within the community and the greater region while maximizing exposure along regional arterials and I-3990 interchange. And we've come up with 12 objectives to meet that one goal. Our second commercial goal is to revitalize the former Machesney Park Mall into a vibrant mixed-use development to serve both the village and surrounding area. We've identified 4 objectives to work towards to meet that goal. And our third commercial goal is to initiate improvements and strategies to define a downtown business district located on Illinois Route 251 near Harlem Road. And again, we've identified 4 objectives to meet that one goal. And like I said, these goals and objectives have already been discussed as a commission. Our one broad transportation goal is to improve the safety and efficiency of vehicular and pedestrian movement within the village. And we've identified 10 objectives. Oh, did I skip? I skipped the industrial goal. We have one industrial goal, and that is to improve and support the existing business and industrial parks within the village as high quality locations for light industrial, high-tech office park, and commercial service uses. And these are the 10 objectives to meet that industrial goal. What's that? Yeah. Oh, I skipped. Oh, yeah, our one transportation goal is to improve the safety and efficiency of vehicular and pedestrian movement within the village. And on that former slide were our objectives to reach that transportation goal. Now we go to the economic development goals. We have 5 economic development goals in our plan. The first one is to proactively seek and attract retailers, service providers, professional offices, and manufacturers to locate in the village. And we've identified 6 objectives to meet that one goal. The second economic development goal is to retain existing businesses by building and maintaining relationships between village leaders and business owners and managers to support business growth and expansion here in the village. There's just one objective to meet that goal down at the bottom of the slide there. And these are all in the plan, of course. Our third economic development goal is to revitalize and enhance key commercial areas. And we've identified 9 objectives to meet that goal. The fourth economic development goal is to promote and aid in job creation to provide employment opportunities for the local and surrounding community. And we've identified 3 objectives to meet that goal. And our last economic development goal is to promote Machesney Park as a shopping and dining destination. We have 2 objectives to meet that goal. Our one goal for Parks and Recreation is to enhance and protect the village's parks, open space, and environmental features that add to the character of the community. And we have 6 objectives that we've come up with to meet that goal. Lastly, we have one goal for community services, facilities, and utilities, and that is to continue to provide high-quality village services and maintain appropriate infrastructure and utilities within the community. And we have 11 objectives to meet that goal in our plan. And I know the font is small, and I apologize for that. I was trying to fit it all on here, but these are all in the plan. And like I said, we've already discussed these as a commission. So now that we've looked at our broad goals and objectives, we'll look at the real crux of what this comprehensive plan boils down to, and that is land use. The plan includes several plan maps that we've reviewed as a commission. We have our existing land use map, future land use map, a transportation plan map, a Parks and Recreation plan map, and a points of interest plan map. The future land use map is the one that we'll be referring to most often when making land use decisions day to day, and there are 11 land use classifications on this future land use map that's on the screen here. The commercial corridor use, that's the red that's primarily along Route 173. It is for large franchise stores and restaurants, hotels, car dealerships, uses that make this a regional shopping destination. The neighborhood commercial service and retail that's shown in pink on this plan map are areas for small service and retail uses that don't need a lot of parking, that just serve the local area and don't affect the comfort of nearby residences. And you'll find these pink areas along 251 up at the north end and kind of south of Harlem Road down here. Mixed use Main Street District is the area where we'd like to establish a downtown atmosphere. It is shown in red with the cross hatching right here. And this area would be a more pedestrian-friendly area. It would have amenities that make it a gathering place. We do have a downtown beautification plan that provides a framework for how to improve this area. The mixed-use town center use is the former Machesney Park Mall and the surrounding area here. It is shown in the red with white hatching. This is where we need to focus on non-retail redevelopment of the mall and outlots to make this a pedestrian-friendly employment destination with entertainment and services, and a community gathering center, perhaps. Some low-density multifamily housing on the north side of this area is something that we envision. Then our industrial business park is shown in purple on the map. It is both our older industrial areas east and west of Route 251, in addition to the interstate interchange area where we have some opportunities for infill development out there and redevelopment in our older industrial areas. Institutional, public, and utility use is just our existing and planned government utilities. They're shown in blue. It's government utilities, military, school, fire stations, churches, cemeteries, and community center properties. And you can see they're scattered around. You can probably identify what most of these are. Different government facilities, cemetery. We got some churches scattered around here also. Fire stations. The mobile home residential use is shown in brown. It is only the existing conforming Forest View mobile home community. Though we have several scattered existing mobile homes on single-family lots in the village. These are pre-existing non-conforming, and in the future, we would like to have all mobile homes on a property that is a proper mobile home, development. Multifamily residential is shown in orange on the map. This would be areas for R2, R3, and R4 zoning. Although there is room for infill in some of our multifamily areas, we do not include any new multifamily areas on this future plan map. Historically, our board and our residents do not consider multifamily favorably, but as I mentioned, we would like some multifamily in the mixed-use area, town center area. Single-family residential is shown in yellow. And these are all of our single-family neighborhoods, which makes up the bulk of our community. I've also included most of the rural unincorporated area, which we may annex in the future. These are areas where sewer and water may not be extended anytime soon, so it makes the most sense to just have scattered housing out in that area if we annex it. In the immediate future, perhaps in the next update of this map, it'll make sense to show some future commercial or industrial areas further out, especially to the west along Highway 2. But right now, the infrastructure just isn't there. So I've only shown it as residential development for this current plan map. Open space parkland is shown in green. These are our existing park and open space areas. We really don't plan to add any more parkland except for our floodplain areas, which is a separate use I'll talk about next. And if we ever annex the quarry on Swanson Road, it would make sense to develop this as park and open space once that quarry is decommissioned. That's the property up here that it's not in the village now, but it may be someday. Lastly, our future floodplain recreation park area. It's shown on the map in white with green hatching. And these are areas identified in our village floodplain recreation and improvement plan, where we would use properties acquired in the voluntary flood buyout program and make them accessible park and open space areas for everybody to enjoy, with some nice riverfront amenities to hopefully make these areas a regional draw to the village. There are some additional aspects that we would keep in mind addressed in this plan when it comes to future development and schools, emergency services, utilities, and healthcare. Things that should be considered are possibly correcting the school district boundaries so we don't have kids that are living here that are being bused to schools in Rockford like we do now. Maybe aim to have a local hospital in the future, and definitely more facilities to serve residents as they age. Also, we don't have a local library here, nor do we have a post office, and these are facilities that we may want to have here in the future. And this is all addressed in the plan also. Then the plan wraps up with implementation. We don't want this plan to just sit on a shelf. We want to see that these goals and recommendations actually become reality, and we've identified 9 actions to help make that happen. First, to adopt the plan and refer to the plan when we're making land use decisions, specifically that future land use map. And always be updated with our boundary agreements that we have with adjacent municipalities. Always review our code and update it where we need to update it to make this plan work with our actual zoning requirements and such. Always have an updated capital improvements program. Promote cooperation and participation with all the interested entities around, yes. Prepare an implementation action agenda, kind of decide what is most important to tackle right now to start making these plans a reality. Explore funding sources and implementation techniques. Enhance public communication. We're trying to do that with the social media more and more. And update this plan on a regular basis. This plan was last updated in 2010. We were waiting for the 2020 census numbers to come out, and that took longer than usual because of COVID. But now we have drafted our updated comprehensive plan, and we're looking for a positive recommendation from the commission so we can take this to our Planning Economic Development Committee next week for their recommendation, ultimately to have this plan adopted by our village board. Thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any questions?
I don't know, some of them I feel like we talked before, but wasn't sure how we were.
Yeah, everything we discussed before is in the plan. I haven't made any changes.
Yeah.
But this is just putting all those sections that we've already tackled all together in one plan document.
Can you clarify the mixed usage that we're talking about for the downtown district? Is that a zoning classification, or is that just a target area that we're looking to have like the commercial, community commercial or something like that?
It would not be a zone. There would be several zoning classifications that would be appropriate there.
Okay. Did you guys have any questions? Okay, well, then,
No, I think it's great. I think you've done a great job.
Thank you.
Yeah, I did talk to the mayor and he was, all about, we gotta get more houses or more people here. And so I don't know what he meant by that, but people
Yeah.
gotta be.
Well, the fact that we don't levy a property tax,
Yeah,
I mean, of course, a growing population is a sign of a healthy community, but with the way population trends are going in this area, I think focusing on making this a job center and in a commercial center, might be more beneficial for us.
yeah, I think so.
And maybe once that happens, maybe people will start moving here also.
What is our school capacity? I mean, how many more kids could we take? Do you know?
I don't know.
No? Okay.
But I think the classrooms are already pretty crowded, more than ideal, just all over the place
Yeah.
with fewer teachers and things.
Mm-hmm. Because there's not a expansion, say it all does happen, that's great. Where would we expand our schools, I guess is my next
Well,
question.
that's one of the issues is we really don't have the capacity to expand our schools. And a lot of the new development and out to the east is actually in the Rockford School District.
Yeah, my kids live off of Mitchell, Derbyshire,
Mhm.
and they get bused to the Rockford schools.
Yeah. And that's something that was actually in the 2010 plan, the idea of working to amend school district boundaries.
Yeah,
So kids aren't on a bus, so early in the morning to be bused down to Rockford.
it's a long
A
trip.
school in that neighborhood would be ideal.
I'm sure
Right.
Rockford doesn't want to give up that much area.
Yeah, and well, that's the thing when it comes to who your property taxes, which school district your property taxes go to. They would have to release those properties from their school district before we could, look at taking them into the Harlem district. And that's something to work out between the school districts, but I think the village would try to facilitate that as much as we could.
So you're feeling the village is pro get for a swap? They're pro for that, or is it like Rockford just has a hold on that and we just can't even touch those kids?
I think it's worth it to look into what we can do
Mhm.
to get some kind of school in that neighborhood.
Well, and that may help the population too. If we're hitting stagnant
Mhm.
on some of this stuff, that might get a different pull on people coming to this area as well, getting out of the
Yeah,
Rockford area.
well,
and
especially
whatnot.
from young families with children, sometimes they'll call us and ask, this says it's Rockford School. I'm looking at this house to buy. It says it's Rockford School District. Is that right? And I don't know how much that sways their decision on whether to relocate here or not, but having a neighborhood school up in the eastern portion of the village, I think would be really beneficial. But that's not something we can just make happen.
No. But we don't need to set aside land for that and say potential. We would decide that later.
Well, and it's a Harlem School District who would have to take the lead on
Yeah,
on
okay.
making that happen.
I'm learning.
The current map that we have in our existing land use map, that's not current, like as of today, right? Because I'm looking at like the area. Oh, well, I guess it does have discount tire. So it's not totally current, but it is pretty up to date then?
Yeah, unless there's been something just recently. Like I don't think that Angeli and Mitchell zoning change isn't on there. That's still shown
Oh, right.
as multifamily.
And I did have related to that, the in that area, that Angeli area, it looked like we'd wanted multifamily all go out to the road, and then recently we found out that we couldn't do much with that area. It was still looked like it was zoned for multifamily. Does that matter, or do we have to like zone that as like the
Well,
floodplain?
that area is not owned by us. It's owned by First Midwest Group, and they would have to be the ones
Oh,
to change the zoning there.
okay, so we just leave it as is
Yeah,
until they want to
but
try
some
to
of
do
that,
something?
and the maps, I don't know why they aren't updated, but First Midwest Group actually gave some of that to IDOT,
Hmm.
the Department of Transportation. It's not really right of way, but it's property that they own next to the highway there. So that nothing's gonna go there as long as IDOT owns it
Right.
unless they want to build something there, but I don't know what that would be.
More walking path, maybe? I don't know.
Well, that would be nice.
So you don't have to go by all the cicadas in the actual park right now.
There you go. Right, cicada free zone. Put that in there somewhere.
We got 20 years before I have to worry about that one again, right?
So-
Any other questions?
No.
Okay, can we get a motion to approve this ordinance?
You could just be to approve the comprehensive plan.
Oh, to approve can we get a motion to approve the comprehensive plan?
Yes, so moved.
And second?
Second.
And roll call, please.
Commissioner Klinger is a yes. Commissioner Hankins,
Yes.
Commissioner Fluger,
Yes.
Commissioner Danilowitz.
Yes. So this is moving forward with a positive recommendation.
All right.
Thank you very much for
Good
your
job.
time and everything. Is there anything,
work.
is there any other discussions? Any other business? I see no public comment, so do we have a motion to adjourn
So moved.
and a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned.
Aye. So we're still looking for 1, 2 commissioners?